What is going on, guys? That's a tough one. Tough one to end. Hats off to the Lady Vols for storming back after being down by 16 points at one point. So the fact that they made the comeback, proud of them for the comeback. It was a tough one to end. I'm probably going to disagree with some on the last play. She's wide open. She can hit it. I really kind of don't have a problem. It's not my preference on it. My preference was to give the ball to Cooper and let her drive with it. But at the same time, they left Puckett wide open on it. Kind of interesting, but still 19. Got down to 19. Thank you, Lloyd, and come back on it. Hats off to the girls. It was a good end. They made it close. It was a tough one, but still yet a lot of positives to take from it. And I'll look at some stats here in a minute. What's up, Papa J? Need to hit more threes. I think that was when you look at this, and I'll look at some stats here in just a few minutes on it. 28% from three-point range, 10 out of 26. To me, though, one that stood out, they only got to the free throw line 7 times, and they went 2 out of 7. When you lose a 1-point game, shooting 29% from the free throw line, we've talked about that before. Those free throws are going to get them at some point, shooting 29%. We've got to be better than that. They've got to be better. At least, for God's sake, shoot 50% on it. But, we'll see. Let's hit some stuff here. I'm not going to press. Yeah, the press had its moments. It had its moments. There was a point in time where Oklahoma was wearing them out on it. I think they wore them down. They made a good comeback on it. Lady Vols at one point, they were getting their butts kicked, but they come back good on it. I wouldn't give up on them over one game here. Here's one thing I always tell people. Let the game play out. Let them play out before you overreact on it. Let the games play out. I said this with the men's team a couple times this year. I've seen people, this team's not going to – the Virginia game when they played. People in that first half, this is a 4 or 5 seed and stuff, and then they drill Virginia the second half. Football, it's the same way. I've seen overreactions when that Tennessee team couldn't score in the first half earlier this year. And they come back to win games. It's like, let them play out. Sometimes it happens. But let's see. But they did make a good comeback on it. I would have liked to have seen them setting screens for Cooper. I thought if anybody was going to shoot from the outside, it should have been Spear. To me, you let Cooper drive, have Spear set up. Wasn't the ideal person to take the last shot, but again, she is wide open. She can hit the three-pointers as well. Of course, I've seen some of you saying we didn't necessarily have our best 5 in. But, that's – if I look at it here as well, and we'll try to get through these – if not Cooper driving it, I would have probably had Whitehorn driving it. Those seem to be your best. Spencer can drive as well. Spencer can play a little wild at times, and I thought there were numerous instances of that today. Just going down, I'm not going to hit all the comments. I'll get some of them, but I definitely don't think that was a play drawn up either. But at the same time, I think it was a case of she was wide open. I don't know that I necessarily blame her for taking it. I really don't. But we'll see what they learned from today. I think part of it, they finished bad at Texas A&M on Thursday night, and I think part of it carried over to today also, as they got off to a slow start. Much better second half, but that slow start as well. Let me look at some stats here. Let me share the screen here as well, because this will kind of put it a little more perspective where I would have went on. I know looking at it, so here's your shared stats. So field goal percentage, 54% for Oklahoma, 46% for the Lady Vols, 3-point, 10 out of 36. There's going to be days that's going to be a lot better, and they're going to blow some teams out on it. Today was not that day. Again, to me, if I had my pen to circle it, 29% from free throws. They talked about like Spencer gets up and doesn't take a dribble. It shows. It shows. They are a very poor, in my opinion, free throw shooting team along the way. Whitehorn was 1 for 3. Spencer 1 for 2. Latham 0 for 2. They're not even getting to the line. That's their style of play. But I would have, on some of the drives a little bit, they've got some girls who can drive pretty well. So I know Beers controls things a little bit more in there, her bigger girl inside. And I don't mean that negatively by any means, just her a taller, y'all know what I mean on it. I'm not turnover. I mean, right here though, this helped. They forced 31 turnovers to only 18, got 30 points off of it. They got out rebounded badly, 42-33 today. They did get 12 offensive rebounds, some second chance points, and then right here as well, bench points, 45-9. So you didn't get a whole lot out of your bench today. I mean, Spear had 28, Whitehorn 13, Spencer 16, Cooper 16. Spearman was one I thought they needed a big game out of today, and she didn't have it. Puckett, of course, had 5, missed the 3, which would have been huge at the end. Boyd 4, Darby nothing. Latham only 8 minutes. Hollingshed had no points. I know at one point during her time when Hollingshed was on the court, it was showing as a plus minus that they were close to plus 10 while Hollingshed was on the court as well. Fast break points here. I mean, Oklahoma was wearing our press out earlier on that 41-23 here. Lady Vols did get 19 steals, but your assists, that's a big difference. 25 assists. They were making a lot of really good passes. I thought Oklahoma was. I was impressed with their ball movement. And there's times I felt like we were really quick in our shots and stuff along the way. And that's part of the style of play too, though. But look at the Holden stats here. Here's where you're look at the plus minus stuff. Yeah, Hollingshed, when she's on the court, was plus 15 today. So something good was going on there. It's debatable who should have been on the court at the end for sure. Spear, it's funny to me, Spear, they were minus 10 while she was on the court, yet she had 28 points. So, the plus minus is not all about the player themselves. It is, a combination thing. I've talked about that numerous times with it. Now, if you look to analytics, it tells a little bit more here. Your efficiency, I mean, Spear was 28, Cooper 18, Spencer 13, Whitehorn 10. So that's, some decent efficiency on some of these as well. Some of the defensive ratings here where you can kind of see defensive ratings. Looks like Boyd, Darby, Hollingshed, Whitehorn all ranked pretty high defensively. Spearman as well. So, I mean, this stuff, again, it is what it is on it. If we look at let me find right here's the story of it by quarter. I mean, Oklahoma won 3 of the 4 quarters. The difference was that fourth quarter was a drastic difference. I mean, that third quarter, I thought they got sloppy at times. And I think that's the third quarter does not seem to be the Lady Vols quarter in any of the big games they've played. Iowa, now I was not able to watch the Iowa game. I cannot answer on that one, but I know A&M, Oklahoma today, Florida State, for example, those have been, I feel like they're bad quarters along the way. So, what happens there? It's kind of like the football team in 2023. That third quarter was their Achilles heel along the way. Let's see here. Yeah, I agree with this, man. They fought hard today. Got to give them credit. They never quit. You could see the effort. I mean, they're still diving. They're still making plays. They're still fighting to the end on it. I'm not the Lady Vols connoisseur. Let me just turn this off, getting the flashes. Here, I see the flashing in the background here, so I apologize on that. But I'm not one that's always watched them religiously or anything. So I don't know if this is a case in the past. Would Lady Vols teams under Kelly Harper, would they have laid down? Would they have kept going along the way? But the thing of it is, and I agree with the general on this, you did have time. You did have time on that one. And again, I don't necessarily, when you're wide open, you can hit the three. I can't sit here and fault them for taking it, but there still would have been time. Oklahoma did have, I think, at least a timeout as well. But, it's, you live and you learn. It's like Smith Wesson said here, learn from the loss and move on. Totally agree on that one. I agree with Lloyd. I felt like they missed a good portion in the paint. I feel like there were numerous layups missed. Now, we did get a break at the end. What was it, 85-70? Was it 85-78 or 85-81? Well, I think it's 85-78, where Oklahoma had an open layup and the girl bricked it. Went down, Spear hit the three. Yeah, I think that was it. And then Cooper got the steal and cut it down. But I totally agree with Lloyd on this one. There was a lot of shots missed in the paint, and then points in the paint today as well. Surprisingly, they were even, 48-48 on that. But how many could they have had is kind of the question on that as well. I thought this as well. I thought Beers was over the back numerous times, and it was not called. I thought it was a lot of times. I'm like, what is an over the back here? Because I get it if it would have been like Spencer in front of her, she could have reached up over her, but it was normally over somebody of similar height. And I don't know. I guess I don't know what an over the back is anymore, because I feel like I've seen it. I know when Tennessee and Illinois played, I saw it a lot during that game with Illinois, the men's game, and nothing's called. Just like I don't guess I understand what the hell a walk is anymore, because I've seen, we watched it with Texas A&M, the Lady Vols the other night. I saw some plays today where it looked like great moves to me, and they're calling for walks. Yet you watch a men's game, and they'll pick the ball up and walk halfway down the court with it, and nothing gets called. So it's a double standard on how they call it. So I don't know. I guess I just don't understand the rules anymore, because they've definitely changed from what I always knew they were growing up. Let's see here. Let me hit some more. Now, some of you have said, I don't think that's played Coach Caldwell. I don't think so either, but we'll see on it. The ones that, let's see, number 12 for Oklahoma gave Tennessee a lot of trouble. Of course, Beers, she had 13 points, 8 rebounds. Scott, number 2 for Oklahoma, had 11. And the other, Scott, 34, had 11 as well. So good basketball team. I mean, question coming in, Coach Caldwell brought it up in the press conference the other night. Do we deserve to be a top 10 team? They're not there yet, but I don't think they're far off either. You fix some of these shooting woes, and you're there. And there's going to be some nights, again, like I said, where when they're on, they're going to blow some teams out on it. We've seen that along the way. Bob Franklin for $2. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Said, man, needed one more pass. Awesome game. Go Lady Vols. I agree with that. I think most of you all probably agree. I would have liked to have seen Cooper or Spear take that last shot. I really would have. I would have definitely liked to. My main draw up when I was sitting here watching, I said, let Cooper drive. And then if they collapse on her, hit it out to Spear for it. I would have had Spear where she was at. But, I think I agree with this one too, right here. I thought Puckett would hit it. A-Dub, I thought so too, and I agree with what you said right here. Was it designed to be that wide? Unfortunately, we couldn't have South Carolina SEC women's tournament last year. Same thing where we left South Carolina wide open to hit it. It reminded me a lot of the same thing, and Oklahoma really did not collapse on Puckett. But, I mean, she took it pretty quick too. But that's a good question. I wonder if Oklahoma designed it that way, because if I'm Oklahoma, I'm thinking Cooper or Spear is taking that shot. And I think Whitehorn and Spencer? Honestly, Puckett is probably the last one I would have expected to take it if I was Oklahoma, and maybe that's why that was. But I agree with you on that. I wonder if that's the way it was. Yeah, that fourth quarter, a little too late on it, but it was, they finished strong. Hope I got caught up, answered a lot of y'all's stuff here. Let me go back down. A-Dub, I don't know if you called it when I went over the rebounding stats. You might have, but 42-33 Oklahoma. Oklahoma had 34 defensive rebounds to 21 for the Lady Vols. 8 offensive rebounds for Oklahoma. Lady Vols had 12 offensive rebounds. So really that was a big difference. Our turnovers were big. That was a 10-point difference. I really think it boiled down to, when it comes down to it, I mean, Oklahoma hit 8 threes, Lady Vols hit 10. Oklahoma got to the free throw line 16 times, hit 11 of them. We got there 7 times and only hit 2 of them. If you really want to pinpoint something to me, I think it come down to those free throws. 2 out of 7 versus 11 out of 16. And, we can look at different things along the way. But also, I mean, too, Oklahoma won the first 3 quarters. They won every quarter, the first 3 quarters. And the fourth was where the drastic difference came in on that one. But where can the Lady Vols, live and learn from this with LSU coming to town Thursday night? I've not seen. Let me see if I can find a score on them here, and some of y'all may be on that already. Oh, man, that didn't take long. I see Gerard Mayo got fired already by the Patriots. So if Tim Banks leaves, there's your new defensive coordinator in Knoxville. But I'm pretty much kidding on that. Could be, you never know on it. But let's see here. I want to see scores of interest today. So LSU's up on Auburn 61-41 right now. Looks like they're about 7 minutes ago in the fourth quarter. South Carolina rolled over Mississippi State. Arkansas rolled. Of course, Oklahoma beat the Lady Vols. Kentucky rolled over Vandy at Vandy. Alabama rolled. Texas A&M beat Ole Miss by 2, and Florida beat Georgia. So there's what we're looking at so far. So it looks like LSU will come into Knoxville Thursday night 17-0. And, hopefully this Lady Vols team can help them leave Knoxville 17-1 at that point. But the turnovers really went in our favor today, though. I mean, we forced 31 turnovers. So that was a big difference in really the comeback. I felt like, to me, they've got to fix that third quarter. I feel like that third quarter, and again, I was not able to watch the Iowa game. I could probably go back and pull the stats on that, but I know in the other games I've watched when they've kind of gotten into trouble, something in that third quarter is not jiving. And they've got to figure out what's happening when they're coming out of the locker room as well. I mean, I don't know. A couple times it's coincidental, but then it becomes a habit after a bit. And right now I think it's a bad habit, whatever's happening in the third quarter with this team. And yeah, you got to play 40 minutes. Totally agree on that one. And, the thing that encourages me, and of course there's a long way to go in the season, but you see who your best players are right now. And, this is a good team overall. For the most part, this team's going to return all their best players next year. For the most part. Now, you lose Spear this year, and there's other ones. But, I mean, you're returning Cooper, you're returning Whitehorn, Spearman, and then you're bringing in all these recruits. Man, I'm telling you, the future is really bright for this team. And And again, it's encouraging to me that even when they were getting down, and it was like, I made a comment, my wife came down, I was like, man, we're starting to get our asses whooped right now. But here they come back. And, you got to give them credit for that. And hopefully the way they finish this game carries over to Thursday night as well. I'm still going out on a limb. I'm going to say that they're going to beat at least one out of LSU, UConn, or South Carolina and Knoxville. They're going to get one of them. And maybe I come back after those three and I was wrong on it. But I'm sticking to my guns on that one. I'm saying that we're definitely going to get one of the three on that one. That's really where I'm going with it, A-Dub. I really think that's what it come down to was the rebounds and the free throws, just not getting to the line enough. I think maybe Lloyd made the comment too earlier. We missed a lot of shots in the paint. I thought that was a big difference too. I thought there were numerous times that not necessarily wide open, but it seemed to me like a lot of misses around the basket and stuff. And that's, you get just a couple of those to go down. And, too, with the 3-point shooting, I looked at how many times today out of 36 3-pointers, there were some that were rushed, but how many times too that were they just wide open? Case in point, the last shot, they were wide open. You got to make those. Sometimes you're not going to hit them all, but you got to hit those wide open ones, some of them. So, that I'm kind of in the minority. Now, with this team and where they're at, this is very encouraging to me that they cut it back to one, only lost by one. A more proven team, there's times I say I would rather get blown out. That way I can't just nitpick everything apart. Today, I'm happy they played it close on it. I'm always kind of one of those, when you get blown out, kind of like Tennessee, Ohio State versus losing by a touchdown or something, you can nitpick it all day long. Well, this is why we lost. That's why we lost. You get blown out, you just tip your cap and go on sometimes. But there's a lot of ways we could look at this one. Oklahoma, it would have been the same with them. If Oklahoma would have lost, there's a lot of ways they could have looked at it. But playing a full 40 minutes is a big one. There's some of those teams that, a lot lesser quality teams. Yeah, they've played pretty much a full whole game. I don't think based on playing Florida State, Iowa, I'd even say Middle Tennessee, Texas A&M, now Oklahoma. I don't think in any of those games they've played at their full potential yet. In any of those, they've had their moments along the way, and of course in the 5 games I've mentioned, they're 4-1 with it. It's one loss. It's definitely not the end of the world. This team will be fine moving forward. It's just learning from the mistakes. Where can they get better along the way? And, winning some that maybe you're not supposed to. I want to look at the schedule here along the way. I know there's kind of see where we're going with it. I know that, to me, when I've looked at the schedule, it looks pretty favorable, I feel like. Like Oklahoma got them at home today. They do have a home and home with LSU, so they'll play LSU this Thursday, January 9th. Now, I will say I'm up in the air whether I'm going to be live or not. I've got to go somewhere else. I've got to be somewhere at 6. It's about an hour away. It's going to last an hour. I'm going to try to get back at least in the second half to do a post-game show. So I will keep you guys posted on that. I'm going to play it by ear. So it'll probably be a case of, if I am going to go live, I probably won't set the stream up until it's in the second half, because I got to see how my time is. And it's something that I'm not willing to cancel either, especially, there's a lot of season to go. Yeah, I didn't think a single review, because there was definitely one late where it was it Hollingshed tipped it, and I thought the Oklahoma girl tipped it last. It went out of bounds, and it went right back to Oklahoma. We didn't get any of those. Didn't get any of the over the backs today, which I thought there were quite a few of them, as a matter of fact. I heard just a little bit about Becker hurting her knee today, so hopefully it's not too bad for her. That's going to be interesting if that 5th year of eligibility gets passed and it goes into effect next year, because then they're going to have to make some decisions. Especially if you've got the 5 girls coming in or coming in out of the high school ranks, you're not turning them away. So I think there's one or two open spots right now. So there would have to be some decisions made next year. I really think so, because those 5 coming in is going to be that's your future and probably your present once they get here. They all 5 should contribute. Now you would get Spencer back, you would get Spear back, which would be big. You would get let me look at the roster here just a minute. Some of y'all probably got it memorized. I could tell you the men's roster all day long, the women's one I've got to look at. So Spear's a 5th year senior. In the event that they passed that 5th year, and if it went into effect next year, you would get Spear, you would get Puckett, Boyd. Let's see, Wynn is already returning. Spencer, you would get back. Destiny Wells, Ajadale, Tess Darby. All those are listed, and Hollingshed. So they would have to make some decisions on that. I think you would probably. I don't like to speculate. There's times I don't care to speculate, depending on the player. As far as like the girls, I'm not going to speculate on who I would think would go or whatever. But in the event that 5th year gets passed, then it'll get interesting. And and we talked about it yesterday on the men's post game with this 5th year. What's next? I mean, is it just going to be you can make a career out of playing in college? I mean, it's gone too far already. You've got a guy playing his 9th year this year. The college game was not meant. 5 years, I get it, but that's where the line's got to be drawn. 5 years. You got 5 years to play, and I think that includes. And I think if you go 5 years, that gets rid of the red shirt. There should not be 5 years with a red shirt. Just be a flat out 5 years to play 5 years if they're going to go that route with it. Chad said the last play was designed by Kelly Harper. I agree with a lot of people, and I don't think that was probably the design. But I wonder, like A-Dub said, if Oklahoma didn't design it that way as well. You know what, Kyle? I thought about that. There's some of these people in college that are great college players. And this is just my opinion. They're fantastic college players. They're making a ton of NIL money. They may not get picked for the pros. So, yeah, you're right. They're making enough now that they're set for life. They don't have to go play pro. They don't have to go overseas and play or anything. They can go get them a job. They can go do them a side project, side hustle, or can do a little bit of coaching or what have you with it. It's a game changer, man. I mean, there's been numerous times over the years where I think back to, you think of Peyton Manning, even though the jersey stuff was just coming into play. How much money would a Peyton Manning have made when he was in college? Tim Tebow. Think of all the Tim Tebow jerseys that were worn when Florida was hot and when he was there. I mean, lots of money these guys not being able to make, even though a lot of them probably got a little under the table. And so, Tim Tebow did play for Urban Meyer. So if you're telling me Urban Meyer hadn't ever thrown $1 or $2 under the table, then nobody has at that point. But anyways, it's 87-86. Lady Vols fall today. Valiant effort. Got to give them credit for fighting back on it. Definitely some things to clean up. Biggest thing for me, and I've said this numerous times, is I want to see the free throw shooting improve. They've got to finish that. General asked at Avery Strickland, but her name is not listed on the participation sheet, so she did not play today, at least according to this. And the minutes, really it was Spear, Whitehorn, Spencer, Spearman, Cooper all played at least 23 minutes. Puckett played 19. Boyd 13, Tess Darby 10. Latham played 8. I thought Latham and Spearman could be, with them, being more post players, I thought they could make a little more of a difference. Hollingshed played 16 minutes today as well, but not a lot of stats from them today. And, a big one on the turnover scene with Spencer did a lot of good things today. She's got to cut down on the turnovers, I thought, but there were some times where they got sloppy, and there were some times I thought there was a little sequence at the end where Cooper had driven in. I thought she had a pretty good opportunity to go up, and she chose to pass it and turned it over. And then the next time down, I think it was Whitehorn was breaking open. Cooper got fouled, if I'm not mistaken, but it seemed like if she would have passed that one, if she would have made the opposite decision both times, easy for me to sit here and say for sure. But, that could have been a 4-point swing right there as well. But, they were effort plays. It wasn't everything today. Was pretty much effort plays along the way for sure. And the fact they're diving for balls, they went all out to the end. They never gave up. They never quit. And that says a lot to me about Kim Caldwell and his staff, that they're playing hard for them regardless of it. And, especially the way she subs 5 in, 5 out a lot of times as well. That says a lot to me about the girls on the team, that they're keeping their minds and their heads in it. Even when they're getting pulled out, they're not going over pouting or anything. And they're staying focused and coming in ready to contribute. There'll be some good times along the way right here. This was the best team they played up to this point. They found out where they stood for 3 quarters. They got handled pretty well. That fourth quarter, though, they turned it on. Their style of play, I felt like, wore Oklahoma down. Just weren't quite able to finish it. And but yeah, I think you were here yesterday, Kyle. We said it was like the hockey lines going in and out. That's exactly what it was like. I think Carrie made that comment yesterday. But got a little over 100. Appreciate you guys tuning in again. As far as I know, what I'm going with for the week, the men's team plays. I'm always curious because I've always heard different along the way, that there's people that follow a lot Lady Vols that really don't follow the other programs, and vice versa as well. I'm always kind of curious about that. I know there's a lot of us in here that pretty much, if it's Tennessee, we're all following it. But I know that's not always the case, and that's everybody's preference along the way. What's up, UT Knox fan? Yeah, definitely fought hard. Had a great chance. I still say, yeah, you got to be impressed with this coaching staff so far in what they've done. I think they've really come out of the gates and hit a home run on what they've done so far this year. They've done an awesome job. They've done a great job. And to me, based on what I've seen, there's a good culture in place. And, it says a lot, because in this day and age, you pull people and they sometimes get their feelings hurt. It seems like these girls, they get pulled, they go over, they get coached, they come right back in ready to go along the way. As far as, let me kind of finish my thoughts here a little bit. What's in store? The men's team plays Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, ESPN2 against Florida. That's a big one. I'll definitely be live for that one after the game. The men play Texas next Saturday at 6 o'clock. So the card subject to change. The plan is probably go live after that one as well. The women, my hope is on it. Again, just because I've got a prior commitment, but I'm thinking I should be able to. Oh, that game's at 6:30. That's going to be a tight one. I'll let you know on that one. I'll post something. I don't even, let's just say until I post something, we'll go from there. I really hate not to go live after the LSU game, but it's kind of out of my hands on that one. And why is that an SEC Network Plus game? Okay, that's weird. But Lady Vols LSU Thursday night, 6:30 on it. So the game will end around 8:30 or so. My goal is to get back home in time to go live on that one. You guys might have to carry me through that a little bit. Just I can run the stats, I can rattle them off all day long on it, but without actually seeing it, you guys might have to carry me through a little bit of that. But we'll try to go live and discuss it. Arkansas next Sunday, 1:00 in Fayetteville. Definitely try to go live for that one right after as well. But thank you guys so much for your support along the way. This is a really cool community that is really you're creating. I just do content on it. Without your support, without you watching it, it's not possible. So thank you guys so much for your support. It's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to bring the Lady Vols on. As I wish I would have taken them on more last year. But, it was some people along the ways like, man, you need to cover them. And then I thought about it. And once I did one video, it's like, okay, yeah, this is definitely a part of the channel moving forward. I'm hoping to bring in some Lady Vols softball this spring as well. There's going to be a lot to cover here for sure. But thank you guys again so much. There's better days ahead for this program. Better days ahead. This program is definitely going in the right direction. Again, the positive to take out of it, they go into that fourth quarter down big. They fought back and had a chance to win that basketball game today. In the future, they'll get some of these. And I'm saying they're getting either LSU, UConn, or South Carolina. If I had to pick one of them, my personal preference is that they beat South Carolina. I would love nothing more than that, especially being a South Carolina native for now. But you guys have a great rest of your evening. Last but not least, go Lady Vols.